Welcome to episode 2 of Makeup and Murder. Today we're covering the TikTok murder. The TikToker who killed his wife. Massive warning, we're going to be talking about DV, so if you do not want to watch that or listen to anything related to that, you can click out of this video now. Take care of yourself first. The victim in this case is Ana Marie Abulaban. At the time when she was murdered, she was a content creator, which makes sense because she was married to a TikToker at the time, so she was making really cute videos on her TikTok and Instagram. She was from the Philippines, and she had a science degree from the Technological University of the Philippines. She was very focused on her studies, and her parents were really proud of that, and her entire family and her moved to Japan, and her family said that she was the one to always plan birthday parties and make every special occasion within the family really special. Now, the other victim in this unfortunate murder is Rayburn Cardenas, 29-year-old living in San Diego at the time. At the time of the murder, him and Ana were going out together. Rayburn's family said that he was the glue of the family. And now for the villain of the story, Ali Abulaban. I have the most information on him. I couldn't really find a lot of information on Rayburn or even on Ana Marie as much as I do have information on Ali. Ali was born in 1992 and he was 30 at the time of the murders. He was born in Staten Island, New York. His parents moved from Palestine to New York. He was in the military based in Japan, and that is where he meets Ana Marie when she was living in Japan with her family. And from the time he met Ana, he was said to be obsessed with Ana. Ali was dishonorably discharged from the military when one night at a bar, him and Ana were hanging out. He suddenly started getting very jealous. He started pushing her around, hitting her. Anyone who tried to intervene, he would do the same to them. He was also extremely intoxicated. When the military heard about this, they dishonorably discharged him. Her friends have now said that from the moment they met him, they did not like him at all. A childhood friend of Ana, her name is Cassie, she called Ana's phone when her and Ali had begun dating, and Ali answered the phone. I don't know why he would be answering her phone calls when they've just begun dating. That's bizarre. It seems controlling. And he told Cassie on the phone, Ana's friend, childhood friend, he asked her why she was calling Ana, and he said that if there's anything you need to tell Ana, you can tell me and I will tell her. So already he is trying to isolate her from her friends. Later on, when they had been dating for a little bit longer, Ana said that she could see herself marrying Ali, and her friends did not want to go against her, so they were just supportive. Around this time as well, he began taking his social media career more seriously. Living in the US was a lot more beneficial for him. They get married and have their daughter in 2021. And this is when they decide to move to San Diego because one of Ali's cousins already lives there. Once they made the move, this is when we see that they actually start posting a lot more couples videos, and it's cute. Their videos are very cute. You would think that they are a young, attractive couple that love each other. They're so in love. They have a beautiful daughter. On her own social media, Ana would say that Ali was a great father and that she was so lucky to find him and that they're so happy together, and that she knew she couldn't find anybody else like him, which is something abusers say to their victims. You're never gonna find anybody like me. No one's gonna love you like I would, which is something that Ali would do to Ana. So from the outside, you would think they had a great relationship. They live in a really nice high-rise in San Diego. He was a rising social media star, and he portrayed himself as a family man. Another reason why Ana wanted to move to San Diego is because she had a very big social circle there. A lot of her friends were San Diego based, and this would be great for her. She was a new mom, newlywed. This is when things started changing once they moved to San Diego, because she started hanging out with her friends. Because Ali is the toxic, insecure person that he is, he began to resent her for having friends, for even wanting to go out with her friends, and for not wanting to stay home with him all the time. At the beginning, Ana and Ali would hang out with her friends and her friends' husbands, and they would all hang out together, and it was really nice. But after a while, her friends started only inviting her out. Ali's cousin, the one that already lived in San Diego, said, his name is Louis, and he said that he must have done something to offend them because they essentially didn't want him hanging around anymore. And they were vocal about it to Ana. And we're gonna find out why. Now, I have to preface all of this because I don't know what it's like to be a mother. I know I wanna be a mother someday. But I know that as a woman, as a human being, I would still want to hang out with my friends even though I have a daughter. There's nothing wrong with having a social life, and I think it's actually essential for people to have a social life away from their husbands. Not that you're gonna go off and do something bad or hide something from them, but it's totally normal to have your own friendships and to have a social life and still be a good mom. Those things are both possible. So when Ana started going out with her friends because her friends didn't want to hang out with him, She was going out alone. And this is when Ollie started shaming her for leaving the house by herself, for wanting to go out with her friends. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just wiping off my brushes because I put way too much blush on. He wasn't just shaming. His shaming went beyond that. He was accusing her of abandoning him and his daughter, and the only reason why he would get angry is because he didn't want the responsibility of taking care of his daughter. He wanted his wife to do that so that he could just film his videos all day long. Ollie would tell his family and his friends that she was abandoning him and that she was a bad mother, that she was a party animal, and that all she wanted to do was focus on going out, getting drunk, meeting guys. What a horrible thing to say about your wife and the mother of your daughter. Another reason Anna's friends had to hate Ollie was that as soon as she would step out of the apartment where they lived to go out with her friends, he would immediately start blowing up her phone. All the time. Calling her, texting her, hundreds of calls, hundreds of messages, voice memos. Imagine knowing you're about to leave your house and your partner, husband, whatever, is going to start calling you nonstop to make you feel guilty for leaving the house to go out with your friends because you want her to take care of your daughter, because you need to focus on your social media career. Obviously, this was stressing Anna out a lot, and her friends could see how much she was changing during this time because she went from being such a happy person to always being worried and concerned. Oh, is he gonna freak out? Maybe I should just go home. And her friends would constantly say, no, you have the right to hang out with your friends. He always carried a gun on him. And this was another reason her friends did not like hanging out with him, because it wasn't uncommon for him to pull out his gun to show it off. If they were hanging out in a friend's apartment, he would just pull out his gun and show off his gun. That's not normal behavior. Something else Anna's friend said that he would do. I would have a problem with this if he did it. Not only is he bringing his gun, showing it off when everyone's hanging out, but anytime they were all having a conversation, just sitting around someone's apartment, just talking like normal, Ollie would interrupt people constantly to put in his 2 cents, and he would do it in a very aggressive way. And it's as if he was doing it on purpose to make everyone nervous and uncomfortable. The husbands didn't like him, the wives didn't like him, and he made everyone feel uncomfortable because there were times where he would do all of these things in front of his own daughter. Another reason why her friends did not like him, I know I'm just listing off a bunch of things, but it's important to get to know what he was like. He was very arrogant about his social media following, was constantly showing off how many followers he had and how his videos would get so many views and how brands would reach out to him because they just were so desperate to work with him. This would annoy anybody. Whenever Ollie would bring his gun to social events, he would pull it out and say, let's go shoot up. Her friends obviously had a huge problem with this because they didn't know if he was actually joking or not. It was almost like, God, is he being serious? Like, what's he saying right now? Apparently, he would say that, pull out his gun and show it off and say, yeah, let's go shoot up. He wanted to get everyone in a car and drive around and start shooting. You know, we could argue maybe he was doing this just to try to intimidate them, because I've met men who say things like that just to try to jar everyone and to try to make people feel uncomfortable. Nobody wants to hang out with a person like that. Let me remind you, this is his wife, and this is his behavior around his wife and her friends. It would be horrible knowing I can't control my unhinged husband. I actually can't ask him, can you please just not say things that would make people feel uncomfortable tonight? No, because he thrived on that. Why would he want to put that kind of stress on her? Now, this is so disturbing to me, but he would let his daughter hold the gun, and he would even leave bullets strewn, just lying around the apartment where his daughter and his wife lived, because he thought it was funny. He thought it was funny to let his daughter hold a gun and have her look at it and play with it. He thought that was funny. Trigger warning here, but I want to give you guys some examples of the abuse that he would put Anna through. Okay, on one occasion, Anna ran over to a neighbor's house and she asked for their cell phone. She told the neighbor that he had taken her cell phone and that he was hitting her. The police did not arrest him. This is so heartbreaking, but in total, there were 9 calls that she made to the police every single time he was aggravating her. And not one of those 9 times was he taken into custody, arrested, or even questioned. Ollie would go on lives, TikTok lives, and he would do substances. He would edge out of the screen, do something, and then come back. And people would say, what are you doing? We know you're doing something. Another thing that he would do, just to upset Anna, is that in front of her, if he was going live, he would start saying like, oh, she's a terrible mother, you guys. You don't even know. She's horrible. She abandons me and our daughter. And of course, because she doesn't want to provoke him, she wouldn't defend herself. So he's out here saying to his hundreds of thousands of followers that his wife is horrible and that she goes out and parties and gets drunk and abandons him and his daughter while doing substances on those lives. Just a horrible, insidious thing that he would do was make fun of Anna's appearance and her tattoos, because she had quite a lot of tattoos. He would make fun of her. I don't know what kind of husband that loves his wife would single out her physical features to make fun of her and try to make her feel less than and make her feel bad. And another horrible thing he did was that he would hold her visa over her head, basically saying that because of me, you're in this country. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be able to be in this country. And that he had complete control over their daughter, because if she was kicked out, he would keep her there. The threat of possibly being separated from your daughter would be a horrible thing. And he would also say things to her like, nobody wants you, no one's gonna be attracted to you the way that you look. And the most downright heinous thing he would do was abuse Anna physically in front of their daughter Amira. He would hit Anna in front of their daughter. How can you go on to say that you loved her and that you wanted to take care of her and protect her when you hit your own wife in front of your daughter? During court proceedings, Gene Smith, a friend of Anna, testified that his girlfriend Jen had received a call from Anna saying that she really needed them to come to her apartment to save her, to get her out of the apartment, because Ollie was being incredibly abusive that night. And they did. They got in their car right away, drove over to their apartment and grabbed Amira and Anna, which, thank God, Anna had amazing friends that wanted to help her and protect her, because if she didn't, who would she have called? She could have called the police and said, hey, my husband is abusing me again. Come and help me and my daughter get us out of here. And they wouldn't have, because she already did that 9 times and they didn't. Gene said that what started all of this was that he was hitting and pushing Anna around in the apartment, and Amira, his daughter, tried to step in to defend her. Ollie was trying to attack Amira for trying to protect her own mother. And that's when Anna said enough. She calls their friends and they show up to the apartment. Another friend of Anna's testified in court saying that in front of the friend group, Ollie would tell Anna that she was ugly and that nobody was gonna like her. And he would do this in front of their friends. He was not afraid to be abusive in front of his daughter and her friends. She also testified in court that Anna confided in her and told her that Ollie would hit her in front of their daughter. So now we have 2 people saying that. Around this time, Anna moved in with a friend of hers to get away from Ollie. And the friend said that when Anna came over, she didn't tell her exactly what happened, but that she could see all of the bruises on Anna's body. And she said she had bruises everywhere, her arms, her legs, her stomach. Shortly after she moved out, he called her to let her know that he had a girl over and he had engaged in intercourse with this girl. All just to try to make Anna feel bad for leaving the apartment because he was beating her. Those were his tactics of torture and torment, to call his wife and say, hey, I just had a girl come over and we did it. That was his behavior at the time, not apologizing for what he did, not trying to see his daughter and his wife and taking her to the hospital, getting her checked. No, his priority was to find a girl, get her home, do things with her so that he could call his wife and say, by the way, look what I did, just to try and hurt her even more. He would even go as far as to leave horrendously vile and abusive voice messages to Anna, which were played in court. He would also tell her that she did not have the right to abstain from having physical intercourse with him because he brought her to this country and she owed him. Remember I said that he would go on live and do substances? So he was addicted. He would tell Anna, this is your fault. I'm addicted to these because of you. He would also call her a skinny ass bitch. That was his go-to thing to try to make her feel bad about her body. On one occasion, after she had moved out and she moved in with her friend, he came over because he wanted to try to talk, and he said that he wanted to try to fix things. And of course she said, sure, if you want to try to fix things with me, yes, come over and we can talk. So he comes over, she gets in the car with him, but he begins to get violent, and so she tells him to leave. And this angers him so much after he got violent with her that she asked him to leave. He goes home and starts Googling chopped bodies. He was so brazen with his abuse that he even did it in front of his family. On one occasion, Ollie's sister was visiting them in San Diego, and his sister heard a commotion in the kitchen. It was Ollie punching Anna, and he didn't stop until his sister came to the kitchen and said, please stop, leave her alone. Anna's sister took it upon herself to take pictures of Anna's face the following day. There were cuts and bruises all over her face. The night that it happened, she wanted to call the cops, and Ollie said, no, please, I'll leave. And they negotiated, so he left the apartment and left his sister Anna and Amira there, and that way they wouldn't call the cops, which they didn't. Which would be hard because I guess, but if one of my brothers ever did that to their wife, there is no way in hell I am not calling the cops to report what he just did and be a witness to that. He was punching her in the face multiple times. And the next day, what did Ollie do? He messaged his wife on Instagram, sent her a DM, and apologized, saying that he just lost control. Something else I find extremely disturbing is that Ollie confessed to his wife that he had once slapped his mother because his mother confessed to Ollie's dad in front of Ollie in a vulgar way that she had had an affair. He slapped her and told her that she should never talk like that again and that she was ruining the family. His mother is a huge enabler. In court, while being cross-examined, they asked her, did you ever know of him punching her and hitting Anna? And she said, no, he never punched her, but he did hit her because she hit him first. And when asked if he had slapped her, she said she didn't remember. Another extremely disturbing fact is after Ollie had killed Rayburn and Anna, he took a picture of their bodies and sent it to his mother. His mother, in fact, was the first person that he contacted after committing the murder. And when asked in court about all of these little details, she just kept saying she didn't remember. She just doesn't remember. I just want to fill you guys in about the little affair Ollie had with Ashley Sanchez, who by the way was 19 at the time that she went over to his apartment, and he was 28. So this is how this story goes. Anna moved out of the apartment. She went to live with her friend, and this is around the time that he was being completely abusive, leaving her the voice memos, telling her she was ugly and skinny, and just telling her horrible, vile things all through voice memo. This is when he is in the apartment building alone. He bumps into Ashley in the elevator, and Ashley is really upset, crying over an ex-boyfriend. Being the great guy that Ollie is, he says, are you okay? Do you want to come up to my apartment? You need to calm down. So Ashley says in court that they went up to his apartment, they had drinks, they did substances. He requested that she shower. She goes into the shower and he says, use this body wash. And it is Anna's body wash. And she thought, oh, that's weird. Like, why would a guy have a girly scented body wash? Why is he handing me this? So she showers and then they do their business. I just want to remind you, she's a 19-year-old girl. He has given her drink and substances, who, by the way, was already in a mental state because she was crying over her ex-boyfriend. Could you have not found a better victim? And then a very embarrassing anecdote for Ollie is after he hooked up with this girl, he started messaging her nonstop for that week after and begging her to come up to hang out with him, and she just kept saying no. And then eventually he started messaging her so much that she had to plainly say to him, I'm not interested in you. Sorry, I don't want to hang out with you. That same day after he hooks up with Ashley, we know that he messages Anna to let her know that he had just hooked up with another woman. Obviously this upsets Anna. But what does Ollie do? He is so addicted to drama that he gives Anna Ashley's Instagram handle. Anna looks it up and messages Ashley and says, hey, I just really want to know the truth. Did you hook up with him or not? I need to move on from this relationship, because up until that point, Anna was still trying to make things work. Remember, he showed up to the apartment because he wanted to talk, but then he got abusive. So she told him to leave. He goes and Googles chopped bodies. Then he has this girl over the apartment. He does his business with her, and then he tells her. So she contacts the girl. But why would Ollie try to continue harvesting this drama? It's because he just must be addicted to it. He must be. Otherwise, would any man in their straight mind think, you know what, my wife left me because I'm abusing her and I'm physically abusing her in front of our daughter. Let me think, what can I do? Oh, perfect. I'll just hook up with a girl, a 19-year-old girl, tell my wife about it, then give her this girl's Instagram so that they can start talking and hopefully fighting over him, which is probably what he thought would happen. delusional. Thankfully, it took a few days for Ashley to be honest with Anna about what really happened, but Anna kept asking her, and you know, I understand why Ashley wouldn't want to say everything, because she's also embarrassed. Now this guy's wife is contacting her. She never asked to get into this drama. So she finally tells Anna the truth. She tells her everything. And she even encourages Anna to leave Ollie because he sucked. She even further told Anna, by the way, he called me and told me not to tell you anything. Let's remember that Ollie told Anna already. Ollie is just orchestrating everything, right? Saying to this girl, don't say anything, but then he tells his wife, and then his wife gets in contact with her. What kind of vile, just depraved way of thinking. In court, Ashley actually says that she was afraid of Ollie and what he could do to her if she told Anna the truth, because apparently he was aggressively telling her to not tell Anna anything. This is what Ollie's defense did in court to Ashley. They just shamed her for even going up to the apartment. And that's when she says, and rightly so, she's like, I was 19 and I was in a mental state, and he gave me alcohol and he gave me substances. Right, so you're the woman, you went to his apartment, you're the one at fault. So Anna was actually able to get a restraining order against Ollie, and she was able to get him out of the apartment. He moves into a motel nearby and begins stalking Anna. Obviously, because that's the logical next step, is to stalk your wife. And this is when Anna starts hanging out more with Rayburn, who was part of their friend group. Now, there is some history with Rayburn and Ollie. Apparently, when they met, Ollie was very rude to him. And the reason why is because Rayburn mentioned how beautiful Anna was and how lucky Ollie was to be with her. Obviously, this set off Ollie. After that, he told Anna that he never wanted her to hang out with him, especially alone. He just held this grudge against Rayburn for thinking that his wife was beautiful and that he was lucky to be with her. Being the abuser that Ollie is, he made a key of the apartment and got into the apartment the morning of the murder. And for some reason, he trashed the apartment because he was angry. He was suspecting that she was hanging out with Rayburn, and he decided to use his daughter's tablet and open up the Discord app and set it to, I guess, go live. And he put that tablet underneath Anna's bed. He then goes away. Anna comes home with Rayburn. They find the apartment trashed, and Rayburn asks her, who did this? This is so bizarre. Why is your apartment trashed? The logical thing that you would think. And she says, oh, it was my husband. They begin to pick things up in the apartment. They go to the bedroom, which is also trashed. And that's when Ollie hears through Discord that Anna is speaking to a man about him. And in that conversation, Anna says something like, my God, he's just crazy. Like, who would do this? And they kind of laughed and chuckled. And this set him off. He got in his car immediately, started driving back from the motel he's staying at, which is very close to the apartment, so that he could stalk his wife. He gets in his car and just viciously starts driving towards the apartment with his gun, which is in his pants. On the way in the car, he continues listening to their conversation on Discord, which just further angers him. Of course. This is what Ollie says happened. He shows up to the apartment, he opens the door, and what he sees is Rayburn and Anna sitting on the couch. And he sees Rayburn leaning into Anna as if they were kissing. And he said he didn't even think about it twice. He got his gun and just started shooting. And he just shot them both. And in court, they asked him, why did you do that? And he said, I don't know, I was just not thinking, and I just reacted, and I just couldn't believe that she did that to me, and I was so angry at her for doing that to me, and how could she do that to me? The way I'm saying it is the way he said it, but tenfold. He was just so angry, and he felt so justified in that moment that he could have done anything, but he decided to kill both of them, because how dare she do that to him, the man that brought her to the US, provided this wonderful life for her. That was his justification. After he shoots them, he pulls out his phone and takes a picture, sends it to his mom, calls his mom to let her know. On October 21st, 2021 is when he committed the murders. He didn't just take a picture, he called 911 and said that his wife and a man were shot in the apartment. And he said that his wife was bleeding from the head and that she must have had 3 bullet wounds. Like, how would he know that? He also said that he didn't know who the man was, but then he said Ray. And in the call, you can hear the 911 dispatcher saying, I thought you said you didn't know him. And he says that he just found the bodies like that. And then he hangs up the phone and then he leaves the apartment. I bet he didn't even stop to think twice about his daughter and how this could possibly affect her. In court, they played out that 911 call and Ali is just in tears, like listening and watching, because afterwards they played the cam footage of the police when they went in the house. They actually broke the door down and they could see, as soon as you walk in, you see the couch, and they blurred out their bodies, of course, but it was pretty gruesome. And because Ali actually didn't deny killing them, the jury, all they had to do was decide whether or not it was first degree or second degree murder. By the way, I watched about 10 hours of court footage, and it is just so, it's almost comical the way that Ali just defends himself. He is just a complete narcissist and thinks that he had the right to kill her. He said that he felt justified in that moment. And the way he talks about the abuse, it's almost like it's just a matter of fact. It was just part of their life, and he doesn't feel remorse. It's so obviously abundantly clear that he does not feel remorse for what he did. He felt justified. And finally, on the morning of May 29th, 2024, Ali Abulaban was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was also charged with a special circumstance allegation for it being multiple murders. The trial lasted for 2 weeks. The jury heard all the evidence. It didn't take them very long to convict him. The video of him receiving the news is just, he looks just surprised, horrified. It's almost like he doesn't want to show emotion, but you just know he is so angry. He looks scary. He is a scary person. I can't even imagine what Anna and Amira had to go through with a man like that. Scary, compulsive, volatile. You can just see it in his face. You can see the way he would talk to the female prosecutor when she was interrogating him. He would jump at her, down her throat. He was so aggressive in his way of speaking in court. You can tell he was exactly how he was presented. And all the things that people say about him were probably true. All right, that is it for this case. If you guys want more information, I'm gonna leave some links down below. But thank you for being here. Subscribe. I love you guys.